We're about to cover the biggest conspiracy film of all time. This film is uncovering such a large conspiracy. I'm actually kind of surprised Oliver Stone didn't direct it, huh, Zach?
Fucking Oliver Stone. I hear he wanted to, but they fucking basically fucking Big Cum Enterprises. They snatched Oliver Stone, told him he couldn't make this. He refused. He wanted to make this movie, so they basically killed him and created a fake Oliver Stone in a lab to throw us all off, so we didn't know.
Yeah, this movie's definitely an enigma wrapped inside a mystery of a shell of a conspiracy. And they definitely do. You can tell Big Cum is behind this film because the opening shot of the movie, the very first thing you see after the logos is a girl making a big cum face. I mean, and this film came out, what, the year 2000? This is way before Next Door Nurse 3 was on, whatever, OnlyFans, making a living out of it. So they were predicting the way a young woman would be making a living 20 years from then, so...
They say, don't forget, before the fucking MGM logo, they had the Universal logo where they're lying about the flat Earth. That's a round Earth I see
Exactly.
there.
I don't know. I have it paused on the Universal logo, and it's a circle, but it doesn't like. This is a weird version of the logo because you remember how the other ones, like from the '90s, would kind of show it from the side and it would swoop around the planet, and you could see it was round. This is like a ball that's just flat. Maybe this is uncovering flat Earth. I don't know. Maybe they're just taunting you because they perpetuated the round ball Earth theory for so long. Now they're just confronting you right in the face with it. So
exactly, they're taunting us.
So yeah, we have a pause on the opening Universal logo because this was a Universal MGM co-production in some way. So you are going to see both logos, but first one is Universal. We just have a pause where it says Universal across the round flat Earth, and underneath there it says UniversalStudios.com. Ironically, I went to UniversalStudios.com to research flat Earth, and it did not have any information.
You have to do it when our boy fucking dies, falling to his death, fucking yelling that we need to do that.
Screaming it out. Yeah.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And when you hear me say the word go, please put play on your DVD remotes, your Google Chromecast remotes, whatever you got. Whatever you're watching this on. Yeah, so I'm going to say, everybody ready? 1, 2, 3, go. Finally, this awesome movie started. Now, watch this act. Like, okay, you hear the lion roar, and then it zooms into the logo. Watch this. Oh, Big Cum.
Oh, hell yes. What are they trying to tell us? Like, is the lion basically the ambassador of cum? Like, are they trying to let us know that fucking the heart of a lion is the big cum face?
Yeah, pretty much he is.
Did we even mention what the movie is?
Yeah, it's the biggest conspiracy film of all time, Josie and the Pussycats. Now, here's our boy Justin Chatwin in his first movie ever, the male fan of Du Jour, the boy band. And then he would go on to play Goku and Tom Cruise's son and, what was it called? War of the Worlds? Big time actor. You can see his very first job right here at the beginning of Josie and the Pussycats, which ironically opens with the boy band.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of so we got fucking Seth Green, we got fucking Breckin Meyer, fucking the big day. Whatever happened to Breckin Meyer? I haven't seen him forever.
He made a lot of money. Don't forget the guy, I'm blanking on his name, that was in Clueless as well. Faison, what's his name? Donald Faison or something like that.
Oh yeah.
But Breckin Meyer. Remember he made that lawyer show on TNT with Zach Morris.
Oh yeah.
I can't remember anybody's like real name right now. I don't know why my brain is like oddly empty.
Oh yeah, this movie was ahead of its time because it's like it comes out, it's like, oh, it's this movie based on the like comic book cartoon series, but like basically they went meta with it and they kind of fucking they mock the whole the commercialism and music and like fucking they kind of make it out like, oh, it's a big conspiracy where they're selling us products through the music. They're putting subliminal message. They got the guy that does Movie Phone to put the subliminal message in all the fucking big pop songs. Very Chad.
Very Chad. Well, the film starts out, it's actually not about Josie and the Pussycats. It's about Du Jour, the #1 band in the world, which is a boy band. And they just like land an airplane and jump out and start doing a concert. Like the fans are on the runway. Did you notice that?
Hell yeah. They're fucking jiving, having a good time.
Yeah. It's funny too.
They sound fucking terrible.
Well, we should say they were singing their hit song "Backdoor Lover," which like clearly they're into anal sex. But
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A fun fact: I'm watching this film with subtitles on, and like the majority of the subtitle is cut off the bottom of the screen. I don't know what that's about. So I can't even read. Thank you, Stars app. Thank you.
See, I'm big Chad. I got the DVD because this isn't out on Blu-ray.
No.
Fucking this is not like Big Cum doesn't want us to remember this movie exists. That's why.
Well, it's because after a certain while, people started catching on to the actual subliminal messages of this movie, telling you how, big come. Now here, du jour, like their whole inside of their plane is sponsored by Target, and like they're arguing over who's got their face big enough on the Coke cans.
Exactly. There's just all kinds of products around, like fucking very commercial, like Bounce. Why there's fucking laundry detergent sitting on the wall there? Why do they need laundry detergent or whatever that is on the fucking plane?
It's not sitting on the wall, Zach. It's glued to the wall.
Exactly. It's fucking just displayed there like it's a storefront, baby.
In this movie, they don't like work the product placement in like, oh, somebody's doing their laundry. Here's some Bounce. No, they just glue it to the wall and you look at it.
Exactly. They're fucking. It's five head shit. They're like fucking. Why are they just trying to sell me product? It's fucking meta, baby. It knows. It knows.
Because they're trying to get you to think, get you to research flat Earth.
And this scene right here, they're basically right here. This is kind of what starts the whole lead up to Josie and the Pussycats. It's basically these dumb boy band guys basically figure out like they're noticing like, hey, we were listening to the mix of our new song and we heard something weird. So basically they're hearing the subliminal stuff, and they pointed out to the guy who's their manager, and he's like fucking, he does the whole South Park meme. He's like, oh shit, there's a turd in the punch bowl. They know too much. So he goes up to the guy in the cockpit and he's like, they know too much, and they just fucking jump out, and they let them stay up there and die, baby. And basically they point out like, oh, isn't it weird that fucking so many big bands die in plane crashes? And fucking very Chad, like it's basically, yeah, like, oh, they found out too much, and fucking Big Cum, they jumped out and fucking let them die, baby. Very Chad.
Well, a lot of people don't know that this opening sequence is actually the inspiration for the beginning of Mission Impossible 2, where the guy, meets the guy on the airplane and it's in the mid-flight and he just jumps out the side while the plane crashes.
I heard there was one of the writers of Mission Impossible 2 were on the set of this movie, and they actually met Fred Durst later in the movie. It looks like a cardboard cutout, that scene where they're at Total Request Live, but that was the real Fred Durst. They were just pretending. They put makeup on all the actors. Now, we'll talk about that when it comes up, though. Like, yeah, this is where he's like, oh, shit, we noticed some weird shit in our music. Well, take a listen to this.
Yeah, when they were at Total Request Live, they didn't realize that Fred Durst actually just hung out there, like, all the time.
Fred Durst, what a fucking king.
He is a king. And he would go on to film the best movie of the 2010s with or maybe it was the 2020s, actually. I can't remember what year it came out, but that one with Travolta.
I think 2019, fucking The Fanatic.
Yeah, the 20 teens.
It had John Travolta and the fucking American Treasure of fucking Devin Sawa, the guy who played Stan in the fucking Eminem music video. Yeah,
he actually makes a lot of movies with John Travolta. I've seen some other ones he's in with them. So
Big Chad. See, look, now they're fucking jumping out of that airplane. They're gonna let these boy band fuckers just die. And fucking imagine doing that to Seth Green. Fucking Seth Green. Yeah. He was in fucking Idle Hands. That's a great film.
He was. And this monkey is amazing that he has a pet monkey. It's a little tiny. It's not even like a regular circus monkey. It's just like a tiny fruit tree monkey.
Yeah, there's just a monkey there for no reason that they're hanging out with. You think that's the same monkey that was in that random scene in American Pie when it's just hanging out with Blink-182? Remember when Blink-182 just showed up in American Pie for no reason?
Actually, I do. I don't know if it was that monkey or not. I thought for sure I recognized him from that scene in Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, look who we got. Basically, the real name of this movie could have been just Stacy's, because it's just three Stacy's. Basically, fucking three Stacy's, big cum. And then basically, yeah, they brought it up to date. The fucking, it's not the cartoon we grew up with. Josie and the Pussycat. Now they're like a pop punk band. Fucking, which was very popular at the time this came out, and like fucking, it kind of stayed somewhat popular. It never really went away, but like, yeah, I think the songs in here are pretty catchy. They're okay. They're not terrible.
I heard the original title for this film was 2.5 Stacy's.
Mm.
But
Who
they,
was the half?
but then the drummer.
Probably.
But then they
Probably.
actually secured the rights, so it went from being a Josie and the Pussycats knockoff to being an actual Josie and Pussycats film.
Exactly. We got Rachel Lee Cook as Josie,
Hmm.
the main the guitar player. We got Rosario Dawson, which is fucking crazy. Like,
I know.
what's funny is whenever I saw Clerks 2 was the movie where I thought Rosario Dawson just showed up for the first time. I was like, who was this Stacy shaking her titties around fucking on the building of the Clerks hangout or whatever? And it was just like fucking. I knew I recognized her, but it's like fucking. I grew up watching Josie and the Pussycat. That was the first time, and I just fucking for whatever reason, it's like it didn't click until much later. And then Tara Reid makes up the drummer, and she's like the big airhead
Yeah.
blonde kind of character. Very Chad, very Stacy.
She hangs out on the street corner holding a sign that says "Honk if you love pussy."
Exactly. The guy stopped, but then the thing, like the telephone pole was obstructing the sign that said "Honk if you love pussy cats," but he thought it just said pussy. That's fucking
He
donk.
just cummed while he was driving, and that made him crash. I
Probably.
was gonna ask you because, in all honesty, I mean, I had heard of Josie and the Pussycats, but I never watched it as a kid. Like, I felt like it was pretty much like before my time. I could be wrong about that, but
It was me too, the cartoon. But I did. I watched Cartoon Network enough to like have seen the intro and like, oh, okay, and it was just in my mind. Oh, this guy right there. I forget what his name is, but he was in a lot of movies around this time. He was in Road Trip. Remember, he was like kind of the stoner,
yeah,
nerdy guy who was like, "Oh, something tells me the world is gonna need me." Fucking that guy. And he was he was also in a Nickelodeon show. He was on the Nickelodeon Animorph show.
oh
Very
yeah.
Chad.
You know who he remind me of is like if James Spader was like really young and there was like nothing Chad about James Spader, it would be that guy.
Oh, how dare you! This guy's very Chad. Very Chad. He's probably got a big concrete cock. But I guess he's still acting. He does like Law and Order stuff like that, TV.
So Josie and the Pussycats started out as a comic book and was published from 1963 until 1982.
Oh yeah.
And then they adapted it into a Saturday morning cartoon. It says in 1970. I'm not sure how long that ran, but yeah, this was a little bit before my time. Some reason I just never caught the reruns of it. So yeah,
Yeah. See, Josie has a shirt that says Sid on it.
yeah.
It says Sid. Big Stacy. Big Stacy.
Well, they introduced some fake Stacys here too that always show up and make fun of them.
I just realized who that one on the left is. Did you notice that? Look, when it shows them again. Oh, it might not show her. She's like gone now. That was Catherine Isabel right there.
Yeah, I can tell. Yeah, she has her big Canadian eyes in this. One thing that I didn't think about, like I didn't remember or whatever, I just didn't know, until I rewatched this. Like I didn't put two and two together or understand that Josie and the Pussycats, like they live in the same town as Archie.
Riverdale, exactly. And I got some fun facts about Archie comic book. Apparently, they were not on board with kind of the adult humor in this movie. They were a little, basically, this movie back when it came out, they really had a hard time kind of appeasing the Archie comic books guys because like they actually did release a gimped version of this movie. The theatrical version was PG-13. They put out a more family-friendly PG version on DVD also that took out a bunch of isn't that so weird to think about because it's like
Yeah.
now it's like since the new comic book it's like, oh, we want dark, we want fucking adult, but like yeah, they could have been like ahead of their game if they would have been on board because apparently when this was coming out they were really disappointed. They were like they actually encouraged people not to go watch it or something. Shake it up, shake it down, Big Stacy.
Yeah, like that first scene where they showed them, other than the opening credits, which was like a music montage, but that first scene, like they're playing this awesome, like playing good songs in this bowling alley, and just nobody's watching. Like if that was in my local town, like three young Stacys were in a rock band that actually sounded halfway decent. I mean, even if they sounded like shit, I would go to the bowling alley just to see them. I mean,
fucking Rachel Lee Cook. She was in. I remember the first time I ever heard of her. She was in She's All That, and that was one of those like fucking throwaway kind of teen comedies where it's like, oh, the nerdy girl who I bet I can make her the prom queen, and then it's like, oh, that girl, ew, and it's like they just put like glasses on her, made her hair kind of back, like ratted her hair up a little bit, put it in a ponytail, made her put overalls on her, and she's supposed to be ugly in Hollywood eyes.
Yeah, I was gonna say like from the first moment I ever saw her, I thought she was like really good looking, and then like every movie I saw her in, they're like, "Oh, she's so gross, right?" Just like what?
Fucking Hollywood.
Yeah,
Imagine like what that did to fucking kids that really thought like I am an ugly person. Like fucking this is what Hollywood thinks is ugly. Like what about me?
yeah, I know. Yeah, I have some trivia about Rachel Lee Cook, a movie she did that I actually have heard of, but I never seen. But now I want to see after seeing this again, and I'll bring it up when another Stacy shows up later in the movie. But like, yeah, Rachel Lee Cook, I'm looking at her filmography. Like, she did a bunch of like kids movies, like Babysitter's Club, Tom and Huck, Carpool, and then she did like a lot of smaller parts. Like, remember how like Danielle Harris was like the star of Halloween, but then when you saw her in any other movie, she was just like a background girl that barely had two lines. Like, it seems like that's who Rachel Lee Cook was until She's All That. And then like in the course of like pretty much 2 years, maybe she had come out She's All That, Get Carter, and Antitrust, and Josie and the Pussycats, and a couple other ones. But it's like, it's weird because like I remember her being in like a bunch of stuff that like I went to the theater and saw or whatever back in the day. But when I looked at it, I was like, oh shit, she had like a 25-year career, but all her big stuff came out in like 2 years.
Yeah, like the last apparently they were trying to get her involved in the new He's All That Netflix
Yeah,
movie that just dropped. So I might watch it just to see like, oh, okay, fucking kind of a blast from the past. I don't remember liking She's All That, but I remember thinking like,
yeah,
holy shit, the chick in that is very Stacy, very Stacy.
yeah. She was the only
So,
reason like why I rented it or whatever. Did you ever
oh
see that
yeah.
movie she was in, Antitrust, with Ryan Phillippe and Tim Robbins?
I've heard the title.
It's actually a pretty good movie. I actually rewatched it. You know, like I rented it when it came out, and I rewatched it on cable about a year ago. And I have to say, like, because she plays like a computer hacker type girl, and she has like the kind of like, I don't know what you would call it, kind of edgy styled hair and stuff, and she's like the love interest for Ryan Phillippe, kind of. Well, not
Big
really, because
Stacy.
he has another girlfriend, but like that is like the most like as much as they Stacy her out for this movie, that movie is the most Staciest Rachel Lee
Oh
Cook
yeah.
movie.
This guy's name is Paolo Costanzo.
Yeah,
That's a fucking. Imagine having such a big fucking concrete cock that your name rhymes like that.
yeah,
He's got a Chad jawline too. Fucking, I don't know why this guy isn't in more. Big Cum must have fucking just like snow, like blackballed this guy. He must have like tried to come out and tell their secrets. I always thought this thing was funny where she tries to like basically. So first off, right here, she goes, "Your flies are done." She goes, you suck." So fucking cringe. That's amazing
yeah,
though.
Missy
Like,
Pond.
basically in the movie so far, Josie and her band, they're just called the Pussycats right now,
Yeah,
and they're basically struggling musicians. They were playing a show at the beginning. It looked all glamorous, but then it kind of revealed that like, oh, it's just they're playing in a bowling alley, and that people aren't really interested. They're just kind of background music, and then they're loading up their gear. They're like, man, we really need to break out, all this shit. We need a record deal. We can do it. Like, and we gotta go out and try to make it happen, and all this stuff. Right here, they're learning that the band du jour, the band from the beginning, they died in a plane crash.
or they're missing in a plane crash.
Yeah. So like they're basically just like they're trying to find that next step, like break out, get a record deal, and all this. And our boy Alan Cummings, who played the manager of Du Jour, who was the guy who like, oh fuck, they're on to us. Let's jump out of the plane and let them die. He's gonna discover them and see his new project. Like, oh, this is the new band that I can kind of use their music and then put my subliminal shit and get kids to buy all these products. And like they don't know that, but like they figure it out throughout the movie. And basically, it's very, very Chad. Very ahead of his time. She's still wearing that shirt that says Sid. Who is Sid? Is she just a big fan of that kid from Toy Story?
I thought she was a fan of Sid Vicious, but I think it's still the same day. Like all this is happening in the course of like 15 minutes.
Look at her when she gets all fired up. We gotta fucking go out and we gotta get a fucking record deal, man. It's gonna be dawn. And there's some cool stuff in they definitely looked into struggling bands, like they were eating Roman noodle, what are they called, ramen noodles. I almost called them Roman noodles.
They were eating Roman noodles. They would just find old clocks and eat the numbers off of them.
I can never get into Roman noodles. I can never develop a taste for it. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's okay as a snack, but I couldn't imagine eating it as a meal, to be honest.
I have known people who were musicians who were like, they lived on Roman noodles, and it was just like fucking. I spend like fucking $5 in like 3 months. I fucking just I eat Roman noodles all the time. It's like, I could never do that, dude.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I guess there's other like foods if you're like super poor and you had to eat. I think I would pick other shit to eat. I think I would just eat like soup, not ramen noodles.
I would probably go for salad. Shit.
Yeah, salad's
before
better.
That, yeah. Like apples and stuff.
This made me so nostalgic. This part where Alan Cumming, is it Cummings or Cumming?
It's something, yeah.
I thought
one
it was
or the
Cumming,
other.
but like, yeah,
But we see the fucking basically the third eye squeegee, like his name, Alan Cumming, like Big Cum. They're on to us. Basically the guy who made this was very he knew.
But it's funny that like this record store has an actual like full-time DJ who just like spins tracks for everybody.
Yeah, that would be a great fucking. You're just working at FYE, and it's just like I just get to fucking be the DJ, baby, and I don't even got to spin shit. I just put a CD in now.
This one looks so giant. It looks like the Virgin Megastore that used to be in Hollywood that I went to a couple times. Like, it looks just like it. Like, I'm pretty sure it is. But
I fucking miss shit. Like, I miss record stores
and giant ones too. Yeah. I don't like people that convince you, like, real music fans, all you have to do is go to iTunes or whatever. It's just like, it's not really the same as like actually caring about shit.
That guy looks familiar. That guy on the left.
They both do to me.
Yeah. See, like right there. You know what? I really want like a fucking a Gatorade right now. It's like fucking. You never drink it. I don't remember what he said, but it's just like basically it's laying in that they're hearing the hidden messages in the song.
I think he wanted like some food or something, and he's like, "Oh, you don't drink that." But yeah, and it's funny too that like Alan Cumming, like he comes across like the one goth girl that like she's hearing the subliminal shit, but for some reason like her brain doesn't take it in, like she doesn't follow everything. So like I like it that he basically like takes her out to the alleyway and murders her.
We got a turd in the punch bowl.
Yeah. Which Alan Cumming and Rachel Lee Cook were both in the remake of Get Carter with Stallone. Alan Cumming played the bad guy.
Big Chad. You think he was trying to hit Rachel Lee Cook? Like fucking he just knew she was a Stacy?
I always thought he was but no, probably not. I mean, he was probably trying. I don't think he succeeded. I think he was probably like too old for her.
Who's that new chick with the last name Cook? She was in like Bates Motel, and she was on like what was that? Ready Player One. She was like the ugly girl in Ready Player One, but she's a total Stacy, but she has a birthmark, so she's ugly now.
Oh yeah, Bates Motel. Like, yeah, I want to say that's Olivia Cook, but I could be wrong. But I know
Olivia Cook. She didn't have a birthmark in Bates Motel. She had a birthmark in Ready Player One. Yeah.
In Bates Motel, wasn't she the girl that had like cystic fibrosis or something on her lungs?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
right
her.
There. Yeah, I do too. She was in that one movie with the what was that movie she was in recently? The guy that goes deaf. That wasn't
Sound of Metal. Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I want to see it. She was in the first Ouija, and I remember going to see it because I had watched the first, I think, 2 seasons of Bates Motel, so I knew her from that.
Mm-hmm. This is kind of weird because like basically du jour they died the band, the boy band, and it's like, oh, time to take down all their shit. Like people aren't going to be into that. That's not what happens. Like when the band dies, they get more popular.
Make more money. And why wouldn't you want to like keep promoting it as long as you could? Because you know how like when somebody dies, their record sales go up like 175% or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Right here we got the struggling musicians. They're crossing the street, and Alan Cummings is he almost just hit them, and we get this fucking dank ass. Cold and lonely in the deep dark night. fucking Paradise by Dashboard Light just plays, and he pulls up the fucking jewel case,
Yeah.
and he puts it up to him, and fucking amazing. It's godsend, baby. This is my new project.
I love how the jewel case didn't even have the spindle inside. Did you notice that? It just was a clear jewel case.
Does he just have an empty jewel case so he can do that with?
No, he had like a demo, like a burn CD in there. I guess the one that he had took in the record store. He like takes it out and throws it out of that case, but there clearly was no spindle there.
I used to do. I was, like kind of. I always make fun of Aaron on fucking. I thought of a new nickname for Aaron. Like I'm gonna start calling him Q Aaron. Like
Yeah,
that'd be funny.
he's hardly been on the show. Why don't you describe or tell everybody who he is?
My boy that I do BTM podcast with,
That's
fucking
right.
on the Revival House Network, and I was thinking like I make fun of him for being like a big mark for like when he's collecting Blu-rays and shit, he always wants to make sure he gets the version that comes with the slipcase, and I make fun of him because he tells stories about how like, oh, I actually went into a store and I bought a version of him. I bought the movie that had a slipcase, and then I brought it back and tried to return it with the receipt, and then shit like that, and I'm like, that's so fucking lame, bro. But you know what I used to do and I still do? If I get a CD and like fucking like the something about the jewel case, it breaks or something, but it's a CD I really like, I'll take the fucking I'll take the inserts out of another CD and put it in and like change it with the one
You
I
like
like
swap
more.
the case for one that's not broken or whatever.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's the same shit, but I make fun of him for it.
You make fun of. Yeah, I actually did that one time with the slipcover thing because like I didn't realize that like you could possibly get Vestron video ones that like didn't have the slipcover. So I ordered one, and it didn't come with it. And I returned it because like that's literally the only like line of slipcovers that well, the very first Scream Factory one I ever bought, I think, was Halloween 2. It didn't come with a slipcover, and I knew it, and I didn't care. But yeah, those Vestron ones, like, I get pissed about that Lionsgate or whoever just cheaps out and won't make more slipcovers because the slipcover is the only like thing on the packaging that tells you it's from the Vestron line. You know what I mean? So it's like, what's the point of fucking collecting the Vestron line if the case doesn't even say Vestron on it? You know what I mean?
Fucking, what an overlook on there for you.
Mm-hmm. If they just would have printed the same little Vestron banner onto like, you know, the regular like thing that goes in the whatever jewel case, whatever, I would be fine. I'm like, oh, you know, I don't care about the slipcover, but yeah, it's kind of bullshit.
Right here, the big cum king himself, Alan Cummings, is fucking. He basically laid it on him like, "I want to sign you guys right now," and they're debating like, should we just sign a contract without reading it, having a lawyer look at it, like. But they're just so. This is true to real life, like bands. Like that's the thing. Like record companies can very easily take advantage of bands and sign a fucking contract where it's like, oh, we're gonna have you put out like 2 records a fucking out a year, or fucking something like that.
You know, everybody's like, oh, you sign bad record contracts and stuff, but it's like, even if you sign a regular record contract, you're kind of fucked because the way they do it is like you don't get any money until you turn a profit. So like they just fuck you because like they're just trying to hit big with everything. So it's like let's say if you made a movie, Zach, if you made a $2 million movie, right, you wouldn't spend $100 million promoting it, right? But these fuckers make a CD that like all in, and a record company will make an album that like all in maybe costs $200,000-300,000 to produce, and they'll spend $20 million promoting it. And it's like, well, you're never going to make a profit for the band if like you're starting $20 million in the hole. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I've heard like a bunch of bands I like I found out like, oh, they only make money like the first week that the album's on sale. Like once it's like, you know, a year's old, like it's just all profit for the fucking record company, which is weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew some friends of friends I used to go see, and they had been on a record label. They released one album on a record label, and they were on tour, right? And like in the middle of like playing a show or whatever, their tour bus got like actually stolen. So instead of just like having insurance for it, the record company was like, "Oh no, like you owe us like all like whatever the tour bus costs. Like I don't know what it costs, probably costs hundreds of thousands, but they're like, oh yeah, you owe us for that tour bus." So like their cut of the whatever. And I mean, their CD didn't never really sold either. But it's like how unfair is that? Like, who doesn't have insurance? You know what I mean?
Yeah, like basically they make the joke here, like, isn't it weird, wink, wink, how so many big bands have died in the plane crash? But like when you think about it, it's like you're more like if you travel a lot, then like you're likely to at some point, like
Statistically,
if you're traveling in a van, you're more likely to like die, touring because you're more likely to get in a wreck if you're driving than if you're in the air. Like it's just more common. So like yeah, like it makes sense when you think about it. But like yeah, it's like and knowing that like human error is like because it's not just you're relying on the band to not make a mistake. You're relying on all the other people on the road too, and just to not cover them whenever they like get in a wreck is really weird to think about. Yeah.
so it's kind of weird because it's like I always thought Rosario Dawson was like a giant. Like I thought she was like a really tall, like woman, whatever, like over 6 foot. Because like every time she's in a movie, she's always way taller than everybody else. I looked it up; she's only 5'7".
Stacy.
And if you watch like that shot where they all had to walk in together, like it's so obvious that they have Rosario Dawson and is like close to bare feet as possible, and everybody else has fucking giant heels on to try and match the height.
Dog. Nah, 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 nah. See, every time they're doing these little, what are they called? Montages. They're basically the montages are cleverly edited to look like videos for the band Josie
Right.
and the Pussycats, which was clever. So apparently, all the actors had to go to like band camp to kind of learn how to like it was set up to like, oh yeah, you're gonna take a couple months of band camp. We're gonna show you how to play the songs. If you don't learn how to play the song, like the overall goal was to have them play the songs and sing the songs on the soundtrack.
Yeah.
But apparently they didn't get that fluid fast enough, so they brought in another studio musicians to do the songs, and they're just kind of miming it as they're playing.
They got
But look at that, very Stacy.
very Stacy movie star
They went
moment.
they went through this big like montage of them trying to find the look for Josie, and they tried all these different styles, and then they end up settling for the same hairstyle she had at the beginning. Very Stacy.
Exactly.
And now they're seeing. See, this is a big part in the movie. They're laying in. They're seeing their billboard on Times Square for the first time, and they're like, "Wait, you put Josie in the Pussycats? We're just called the Pussycats." And he's like, "No, we did analytics. We found out that bands with "and" in the title always sell better." And they seem like they're not stupid. They know. They're like, what about the Rolling Stones? What about the Beatles? He's like, and it's just like, they're slowly bringing it in, and it's bringing in like the conflict within the band. It's like, wait, if you put Josie in the Pussycats, it's going to imply that Josie is the songwriter, and we're just kind of a band for hire. And like, so Rosario Dawson's character arc is like, she gets really worried that like this is gonna go to Josie's head, and later on in the movie, whenever fucking Alan Cummings and all these people, because their overall goal is to like basically get rid of the other guys, because Josie is the one we want. Like so fucking, they're giving her her mixes of the songs, and it says the other two don't even matter. Fuck them. Like you're the one. If they did equal work, why is it not called Valerie and the Pussycats? Fucking. So like yeah, throughout the movie, Josie, very Stacy, becomes kind of a bee. She becomes kind of a bitch. She's
It's not her.
shitting.
It's not her fault though, because she gets brainwashed by the thing they make her listen to, right?
But I gotta say, when she becomes a bitch, she's very Stacy. She's still very Stacy.
Always Stacy.
Oh, look at them. Look at that. Look at our girl, Rosario Dawson, with the big, boobalicious.
It's insane.
Amazing. Look
It's
at
insane. It's beyond insane. And like yeah, just like I can't believe that Hollywood never figured out a way to make her a bigger star than she is. But
exactly.
Not to just mindlessly agree with Alan Cumming, who plays the representative of Big Cum in this film. But I kind of agree. I always thought band names that were like so and so and the whatevers, like I always thought like that was a cool way to name a band, better than just like the Pussycats. Like like when everybody was like I actually thought the guys who were like nameless were actually cooler than the guy whose name it was. You know what I mean? Like. And it's like so and so in the fast whatever or whatever, you know what I mean? Like I always thought like the backup guys who were nameless were like the cool ones. Like, oh, it's cool to be the whatevers,
Right here we have the basically I think she's the Parker Posey. She
Hmm.
plays basically the CEO of the record company that's doing the Pussycats, and she just basically a bunch of like FBI agents came in, and she's like, "Oh, I got something to show you." She like pushed a button, and it's taking them to the underground lair of Big Cum, where like they're showing them like, "Oh, here's where we put all of our subliminal messages and TV shows and all this." But before she did that, before she pushed the button to go down, she like wiped. Like a console on her desk, and it looked like it had sand on
Sand,
it. And then
yeah.
she pushed a button. Like, was that supposed to be coke? Was this like fucking? It's hidden underneath her coke that she snorts.
They
That's very shit.
Yeah, they didn't show it real good, but like, and here's this girl was in House of the Dead, but they don't show it real good. But I think it was supposed to be one of those little. I think it's Japanese. I could be wrong, but there's like some kind of Asian culture thing of like you sit there with a little box of sand and like you have a comb and like you rearrange it. Like and you
Mm.
put little grooves in it. It's supposed to kind of like a bonsai tree. How you sit there and slowly trim it.
Oh, like a relaxing thing, like one of
Yeah,
those
and usually
fidget spinner thing, kind of.
yeah, and usually it has like it's like an ancient thing though, and it usually has little rocks in it, and then you have like a thing that looks like a tiny rake, and like you move it around, and you make like patterns and waves in the sand. I thought that's what it was supposed to be, but
You know what's like orgasmic? Like this is big cum energy. I'm letting the big cum secrets out. Like get stoned and fucking watch one of those ASMR like
oh yeah,
or like you just get stoned, lay in your bed, listen to music, and then watch like fucking one of you know those oddly satisfying compilations on YouTube.
mm,
Like just fucking zone out watching those. It's big cum personified or the visual ASMR where they're like they do these ASMR videos where they're cutting like fucking like soap and it's
yeah.
just coming off in little blocks and it's just like
Did
whoa.
you ever see the my favorite ASMR? It's a guy wearing lipstick where he's like on a green screen and he's pretending to be in a movie theater and he's like talking to you. Like he's like your friend and he's like eating popcorn and he's like turning to you and he's telling you, "Oh girl, look at this. I can't believe this happened in the movie. That's crazy. Oh, okay, I'll be quiet. Oh, wait, but there's one part in the movie. Oh girl, we got."
That sounds amazing.
It's so amazing. And like I reposted on Facebook and try to get people to watch it and like nobody gave a shit. But yeah,
Big Comment's trying to suppress it, I think.
oh, for sure. What I was going to set up earlier was Parker Posey, who plays the villain in this movie. She was like the independent film Stacy at the time. She was like the cool and hip girl of like independent film, like probably
Mm.
through the mid '90s to the late '90s, and then by this point she had started getting in bigger movies like this because all the directors wanted to work with her. But the movie I never saw, but I do want to see now. There was this movie she was in called The House of Yes, and it was about a girl, like like a young whatever 22-year-old girl that was like mentally ill, and and thought that she was actually Jackie Onassis. So like the
Yeah,
cover
I
was
heard
Parker
about it.
Posey dressed like her. But like what I didn't know when I was like looking at the IMDb doing research after watching this was in that movie Rachel Lee Cook.
Lee Cook,
Yeah,
yeah.
she played the younger version of Parker Posey's character. I guess like in flashbacks or something like that.
See, it's all making Big Com. It's just they have their paws and everything.
So like, how quick did Rachel Lee Cook mature or grow in like a 3-year time span where she went from playing like the younger version of Parker Posey? Who Parker Posey was probably like in her late 20s at this point. I mean, Rachel Lee Cook was probably in her early 20s, but.
Mm. Right here, we're getting they're coming in, and he's showing them they're fucking basically they're getting ready to shoot their first music video, or no, this is where they record their first song,
Yeah.
and he plays it for them, and they're like, oh, I all of a sudden want some new Reebok shoes. Fucking Reeboks are the new fucking Puma or whatever the fuck she says.
Yeah.
Just laying on that, like, yeah, they're putting these subliminal messages that just make them want to buy products.
Should we talk about that? They made Tara Reid autistic in this film.
Exactly. I don't know if she's supposed to be autistic or she's
That's how I
the
took it.
I don't know. Yeah, this the for some reason that's always a cliche, the dumb blonde.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I actually give her credit. I think this is one of her best roles because she leans into it so hard. Like she has some of the funniest moments in the entire movie. You know, the stuff she says.
Yeah, a lot of her shit is just like dad jokes almost, but like because she plays it well, and it's funny. Like she just plays it like the airhead, like And they're basically telling it, like Big Cum is letting us know that like fucking the drummer always gets like the most chicks, but like the drummer is always the dumbest person in the band. Like you should really like the guitar player or the bass player over the drummer. I'm just playing. I'm being a dick.
Like that part where they walked in the studio, like Rosario Dawson was like bouncing out of control. It was insane.
She's such a Stacy. Look
Yeah,
at her with those fucking cat ears on. Isn't it just cum inducing?
see, I was gonna say, I think this is where Big Cum. This film is where Big Cum got the idea to introduce the Catboy movement.
Oh hell yeah! Jerk and treat tours are the new Adidas, right there. So fucking Stacy.
But I was gonna say, I noticed when I was watching this the other night, this is like the no bra film. Like nobody wears a bra in it for some reason. I don't even think Parker Posey wears a bra in it.
Fucking feminine. God bless feminism.
Yeah,
I love it. Big Stacy. See, I always like their manager guy, that fucking the guy I was talking about from fucking the Animorphs.
yeah,
He's very Chad.
yeah. He is.
He's very Chad.
But it's weird that he always hangs out with his sister, right?
Yeah, there was a scene we talked over earlier where they were on the plane. They kind of broke the third wall, and he goes, basically, it was a weird plot hole that they noticed while they were making the movie. Like, why is she there? And he says that to his sister. He's like, I'm confused. Why are you here? And she goes, I'm here because I'm in the comic book. And he goes, what? And she's like, nothing. And it's just like a weird way to break a weird way to break the third wall. And what's funny is I don't think I've ever noticed that until this last time I watched it, getting ready for the podcast.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because it's like, this movie is like, I mean, it's not a long movie at all. Let's see. It's about an hour and 40 minutes. But it's like, it's so one note. Like, the thing that makes this great is, like, the movie's, like, so one note. It's about girls playing music and having fun. And then Big Cum is putting subliminal messaging. But it's, like, there's, like, instead of being, like, 2 or 3 scenes, there's, like, literally about 15 scenes in this movie that explain exactly how all the brainwashing of the teens work and the examples of it. And, like, the kind of shit it makes them buy and stuff. And, like, I actually think that's what makes the movie memorable is that, it fucking hammers that joke home so hard over and over and over. But at the same time, like, it's just a fun movie. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It is fun. Like, it doesn't like. I don't think anybody seems to remember it. It kind of just like it got. This is one that me and my sister growing up bonded over. This is one of the movies that we both kind of liked, and we watched it over and over again. I always thought it was really fun. Yeah.
Well, you had to be pretty young. Like, I mean, I was like in my early 20s already, but you had to be like a kid still in school when this came out.
Mm-hmm. I remember like fucking. I think I was like going through the video store and like that chick is very Stacy.
Yeah.
That chick right there is very Stacy too. That chick too. And like, let's rent this. It was very. So like this is funny right here. It's basically another what's that called? A montage.
Yeah.
I always forget the fucking word. But they're doing another montage. Oh. Was Rosario Dawson? I thought she was going to do a wet T-shirt contest right there.
Yeah, that's what it looked like they were setting up.
A little music video. It's another montage, so it's a music video of one of their songs, and like it's showing them climbing the charts. They're getting to #1, and later on, after this is all done, it's showing like album review articles like, oh, Josie and the Pussycats, the new big band. And then, like, after this is over, they're like, isn't this weird that this happened all in a week? And it's like, I always laugh at that because it's like, movies always do this thing where it's showing this, but then, like, they acknowledge that happened all in 1 week. I always thought that was funny. Another way to break the third wall, I guess.
Yeah, I was going to say, because you were saying, like, nobody really remembers this movie. It has become kind of a cult movie, I'd say, like, in the last 5 years. But it was, because you know how critics are always like, you should really listen to what we say because we're the purveyors of good taste. And, we're really intellectual when we're sitting watching 18 movies a week. We can totally, track all the different plots of the 18 movies a week we watch. And we always pick up on everything. Yeah, this is definitely a big no-bra scene right here.
See, this is the thing every kid in school dreams of, where all the kids that bullied them. One day I'll be famous and they'll be asking for my autograph. That's what's happening. The same chicks from earlier in the movie. They're looking the one in the middle right there, very Stacy. That's Catherine Isabel. I got a fun fact here. It says twins Twin sisters and horror filmmakers Jen Soska and Sylvia Soska appear uncredited as extras in this movie. This is where they met Catherine Isabel, whom they were a fan of and have since collaborated with on their films. Very, very big cum. Very big cum.
That actually is interesting. Yeah, I wouldn't have thought that they would be on there. But it's talking about how the critics hated this. It says on Rotten Tomatoes, film has approval rate of 53% based on 123 critics. That site's consensus states, this live-action update of Josie and the Pussycats offers bubbly, fluffy fun, but the constant appearance of product placement seems rather hypocritical. And in our boy Big Dick Roger Ebert, he gave the film 1.5 star out of 4. Commenting that Josie and the Pussycats are not dumber than the Spice Girls, but they're as dumb as the Spice Girls, which is dumb enough. Which
were the Spice Girls dumb?
I thought they were pretty smart. I think they all were fucking millionaires, but I mean, I don't know. You know, Roger Ebert, when he was sitting there, you know, watching his 18th film from the week, it just, I don't know, like
they missed the whole point. There's too much product placement in it. What the fuck?
It's like I almost think there's not enough. Like, I mean, it's literally literally wall to wall. Every wall in this movie, every airplane, every like place they go to their apartments here or hotels or whatever it's supposed to be. It's just like all their different apartments or hotel rooms are themed with a like Rachel E. Cook lives in like a Revlon one, like Tara Reid lives in a McDonald's themed room. It's just like, I don't know, like to me this is way better than like bullshit like in James Bond movies where they do close-ups of James Bond's gadget phone, which happens to also be a Sony Ericsson phone. Oh, it's so tasteful, the product placement. It's like when you watch basketball games now and the guys have like a little tiny badge on their jersey that says this or that. It's like, no, if you're gonna be a fucking whore and wear a product placement like and shove it in everybody's face, like go over the top with it. And like what's funny about Josie and the Pussycats, the Rotten Tomatoes, whatever, saying like, oh, it seems rather hypocritical, is like, you're so fucking stupid that like there's so much product placement in this movie. There's no way they could have got paid for all of it. And some of it they make the products look so cheap. Like what was the cell phone company they had glued to their airplane? It was like cheap plastic mock-ups of phones glued to the wall. Like it's so obvious it's a fucking joke.
Mm-hmm. See, I always thought this was like, this is a clever way to like kind of adapt a comic book for a movie and still have a message. You know what I mean? Like still kind of, satirizing, however you say it, pop music and stuff like that. I don't know why. Yeah, like to me, this is one of those. It's like everybody has those movies that it's just like, oh, it's dumb fun. It's like it doesn't. It's not like it's hard to follow or anything. It's just like put it on and just kind of like zone out and like have fun. To me, this was one of those movies. And I think now, maybe age probably, maybe it will get kind of a bigger cult following and stuff because I think age probably will do good for this movie because it's like, oh, they were kind of pointing out, stuff that fucking like, totally true. Hell yeah.
Yeah, like, it was saying here too that in recent years this cult status, they re-released the soundtrack on vinyl. That was like a big deal. There was like some kind of reunion panel and like all this shit. But like I don't know, like I think even though it was very it's kind of hard to make a satire film and release it at the time that everybody's big coming over the thing that they're making fun of. Like this is right smack dab in the era of the boy band era where everybody was like, people weren't dumb. They knew like a lot of stuff that was being sold around that time, like was all about image and emptiness, you know what I mean? And like they were all into it. So it's hard to like kind of rub people's noses in it. And what's funny is like a lot of the shit, especially with the product shit and the whoring out, like this film is like so far ahead of its time because like how they're like sitting there in the middle of product placement in the middle of every scene. That's kind of how shit is now when you watch movies and TV shows. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I always like the scene right here. This is back to Rosario Dawson's character arc, and she's watching an episode of Behind the Music, which I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but I used to love watching that show, like on VH1. And like basically it's talking about like it's a fictionalized, it looks like basically the Village People, but it's talking about like, oh yeah, me and my buddy we used to, he would always say like, the band comes first, and then like, and basically the same shit Josie is saying to them, and like, oh, I wish I would have gotten that writing. It's basically like it's setting up like this is always the story we hear on those like stuff like that, like when the band falls apart, and it's like it's happening, and she realizes it, but she's just kind of going along with it reluctantly.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you because that's. I mean, it's before my time, but it's definitely before your time. Did you know who they were talking about on that behind the music?
Was that a real band?
Yeah, it was. In real life, it was Captain and Tennille, which was just like this guy that played piano and this lady that sang, and they had this like corny song "Love Will Keep Us Together" that's like been around forever. And it's like the joke that they put in this movie is like that there was a third guy in the band of like this famous musical duo. You know what I mean? So it was pretty funny.
I guess I just figured it was a fake band because it almost looks like an SNL skit.
Oh, it's compared to the rest of the movie, it's insanely like kind of clunky and bad. Here comes.
That's almost why it's funny though.
Yeah, here comes Low T James Spader with his pizza.
That's not the guy I was talking about.
Yeah, I was confused because
okay.
I think again we have a mismatch. But I was like looking at the part of the credits where it was showing this guy.
Mm. It was he. Did he go on to do other movies? Because I don't recognize.
He looks so familiar to me, but I don't know. Yeah, I can't think of anything else that he was in.
He's basically the friend of Josie, who Josie has a thing for. She don't know if he feels the same way, and like, yeah, they're just friends. And then like we find out throughout the movie that he had the same feelings for Josie, and they never said it. Fucking that cliche, baby.
Yeah, he's in a lot of shit. Actually, he's in the Blacklist with James Spader. But now that I see a picture of him, big com. It's like, yeah, he's done a lot of stuff, but it seems like he does like background, like he's in all the Bourne movies. But I think he's like just one of the guys in the control center, like whatever, like
he
behind
got
the
dang
computers.
soul patch.
Yeah,
he got dang soul patch.
Yeah.
Look at that. Imagine. Oh, can you adjust my shirt? Can you go by like tie the back of my shirt? And it's like fucking this Stacy, just like fucking. He's just fucking. I am in awe of him that he's able to do this without just combing his pants.
When we did that episode for 2 Days in the Valley, and we're talking about like, oh, like when you do these love scenes, do you get excited? Like, how could you not do that scene right there and not get excited?
Exactly.
Although it probably wasn't even him. It was probably a stand-in's hands. Because, and it probably wasn't even her back. It was probably just stand-ins.
Yeah, that's always weird to think about. Like, fucking, like, oh, we're just seeing, like, a one little part. It's like, oh, the actors probably were just, like, in their trailers at that scene. And fucking, yeah.
There's one funny story I forgot to tell during 2 Days in the Valley. You mind if I tell it real quick here?
Hell yeah.
So like there was during that Q&A that they did with the director and Charlize Theron, and she was saying that because she never like filmed anything period, like any scene like ever, and especially not a sex scene where she did with Spader. She said when she first got on top of him, like she wanted to be respectful and not make him mad, and she didn't know what to do, so she was like on top of him, but she was like hovering over him, like not making any contact, and being awkward. And then like she asked him like, oh, like what am I supposed to do here? And James Spader said, yeah, the camera can see that that you're not actually like making contact with me. So he just grabbed her by the hips and pulled her down and basically impaled her.
Amazing. What a Chad.
I think this is like the part of the scene of the movie where Rosario Dawson steals the movie for me, when she has this like blue sequin dress on or whatever.
Fucking Stacy.
It's definitely a what do you call it, like a big mommy moment. Speaking of big mommy, man, she's going into overdrive. She's like I saw somebody was releasing some of her photos that they paid for, and there was some cat ear action crawling on the floor with her too. That's kind of her gimmick, I guess, with a collar around her neck.
Fucking Stacy. Fucking. I don't know why. Yeah. Fucking. Who's she dating now? Isn't she dating someone that's like some kind of
just a video game guy who's famous for
I thought she was dating a guy who's like in the he's in the Senate or something like that.
Wait, who are you talking about? We're probably talking about somebody different.
Wasn't she dating that Cory Booker guy who was like?
Oh, Rosario Dawson. Yeah, yeah. I was talking. I was talking about my homegirl from Instagram. But
Oh,
yeah, Rosario Dawson is with Cory Booker. She says she's in love, and she had to come out. Like she had to undo her coming out, where she made a post celebrating gay pride with a woman saying, "Oh, it's so good to come out with you," and then she had to come out and say, "Well, that's actually not true. I'm not really a lesbian." So
fucking that just completely like when I first saw the first part, I was like, fucking my soul was crushed. But then like she said she wasn't a lesbian, and then there was hope. There was hope.
I love this part too. Like Parker Posey's hilarious in this, where like she's like, "Oh, eat this junk food with me," and nobody really wants to eat it, and then she's like, "I'll eat one chip," but then she doesn't eat it. She's like, "Oh."
I always say that line where she goes, "Okay, girls, let's gossip."
Yeah,
I say that whenever I'm with a bunch of people. Okay, girls, let's gossip. It's so cringe. You could tell, like, basically her arc is like we find out later in the movie that she was like a dork, and
yeah.
like she always just wanted acceptance, and she was like ostracized because she has a speech impediment, which it's kind of alluding to right here.
Yeah, she has like a it's not fake teeth, but it's like a retainer or something. And when she takes it out, she talks like this.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think that's really bad. Like they even Josie and the Pussycats, who are like the good people of this movie, like the good guys of this movie, even they, when they hear her lisp voice, they're like, "Oh shit, she's got a terrible lisp." But like, I really don't know. I don't
It's
really
very
know why
cartoony,
that's why you would like make fun of somebody for that.
Apparently, in the original script, she was supposed to have been like a chubby kid, and she was self-conscious about that.
Yeah.
But apparently, as Parker Posey said, wouldn't it be funnier if it was just something like real, like even dumber, and everybody thought it was just super like cringe that she used to like have a speech impediment or something like so dumb. It's like, why would anybody care?
Yeah, like I always thought that was weird when people are like, "Oh, you used to be fat when you were a kid." Oh yeah, right, you used to be fat. It's just like, well, here's the thing about weight, fuckers. Is people who are skinny now can be fat in the future, and people who are fat now can be skinny in the future. So it doesn't really matter like what happened in the past. You know what I mean? Like it's so weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like I knew this guy. He was a pretty insecure guy. He's kind of a dick, really. That's why I'm no longer friends with him. But before I like knew him or whatever, he dated some girl that he said was really hot, but that I guess she was chubby when she was like. Which, I mean, come on, when you're chubby when you're like 7th grade, that doesn't mean anything. But like he dated her like in high school or maybe right after high school, and he said he was always like bothered by the fact that she used to be heavier or whatever. And like she had a nickname of Fat Forelli, and he could never stop thinking every time he saw her that and he said that she was real weird because she starved herself and stuff and all this stuff. I'm like, well, it's because of dicks like you who kept saying Fat Forelli over and over. You stupid fuck. Like
Exactly. Look, Parker Posey. She's got these circles glued to her chest.
Yeah,
Very Stacy.
they're not even like really like applied right. Like they're kind of like, you know what I mean? They're not like perfect.
Yeah, what is that? Is it? It's 3 circles across her chest, and that's just like part of her dress. Is it implying like the third eye squeegee to maybe
It could be.
like a big cum? They're throwing in. They want to throw us off because they're throwing in shit that like you think big cum wouldn't say, but they are saying it. So it's like, oh, it lets our guard down. We don't think they're as big of a problem as they are.
We know your boy Mac is not a fan of this movie. I wonder what our boy Aaron thinks of this movie.
I don't know if he's ever seen it.
Yeah. I should do a Facebook message to see what him and
You think if this movie came out today, people would think it's too woke because they cast 3 women as the main characters to play Josie and the Pussycats?
probably they'd probably be like, oh, okay, this is the one that cracked me up when they're in the aquarium and the whales are swimming around and they have an Evian ad in the whale tank.
And there's just some weirdo.
Fucking Roger Ebert, he didn't get that one. He just couldn't wrap his head around it.
He thought they were being hypocritical.
Yeah, he did.
They're being hypocritical. They put Evian in there. They're putting too much product placement.
Yeah.
You think those fucking the whales are having a fucking field day swimming around in Evian water?
They probably can't stop. They're probably almost drowning because they can't stop drinking that water that tastes so good.
Exactly. They're like, this shit is fucking. This is way better than just that normal tap water shit they usually have us swimming around in.
Imagine swimming and drinking tap water. Do you ever wonder about that? Like, okay, they're underwater, and of course, this is a dumb guy question. I don't care if it makes me look dumb, but like, do they drink water, or does it just naturally like seep into their mouths when they open their mouth? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I don't know. Yeah.
like, is there ever a time where they're swimming and their mouth is closed and they're like, "Damn, I'm thirsty," and they just open their mouth?
You think so? What if like it's the opposite for them? They're like, oh, I breathe water, so I'm hungry. I'm gonna go up and get some air to eat.
Cause you know how they're always like, you can't drink seawater; it'll make you go crazy or whatever. Like, well, they gotta drink seawater because they can't come out of sea. Like a shark can't come out of seawater, so he's got to be drinking seawater. Is that why they're so mad and crazy and eating people all the time?
What if like sharks and the whales and all these animals are just coming perpetually, and that's what they have to live on is the cum that's mixed in with the seawater?
Probably. I mean, that's why it's like, you ever see it like when a fish or something in the ocean like does like a dookie, it comes out their backside, and it's like it's usually like white and milky. It's like things shoots out into the water. Like maybe they're pooping cum because they eat it all the time.
See, that's what they want you to think, but that is just them coming.
Okay.
People just say it's shit. Fucking, you get shit on by a bird, it's white, it's cum.
Like,
don't let them lie to you.
I heard on the original version of Jaws 3D, when they were doing the little puppet for like the green screen shots of the 3D like shark coming through, like they were the guy was trying to figure out a way to he's like, you know, every time like it kind of moves forward, we should have a cloud of white cum coming out, like propelling it, you know, towards the screen or whatever. That would be like you know, scientifically accurate depiction of this animal. And they're like, no, like nobody's gonna want to see that, you know.
Fucking big cum ruins everything again.
They do.
See right here, this is Alan Cummings. This is his ultimate plan. This is the scene where he basically he sets up not Josie but the two others. I forget their name, Valerie and basically like Tara Reid and our girl fucking the Stacy of the hours, fucking Rosario Dawson. He sets them up to go to Total Request Live because this is back in like 2001 or whatever when that was relevant. And it's like fucking basically he's setting them up to go there so that Carson Daly and the other guy from Mad TV or whatever he was on
Harry
can kill
Spears,
them.
Yeah. Which that's like a bizarre character. But I was gonna say, did you think about that again? Like, you know, you're younger than me, so maybe you don't remember this, but like before he was like whatever, like Carson Daly was like the big celebrity where they always wanted to know who he's with, and like for a while he was with Jennifer Love Hewitt, and then for like a couple years he was with Tara Reid. So I'm like, did they cast Tara Reid just so they could get to Carson Daly?
I actually got a fun fact. It says Tara Reid and Carson Daly started dating after meeting on the set during his cameo in this film. They eventually became engaged before ending their relationship in June 2001.
Oh,
So
wow.
like just like a couple months later.
So I was totally wrong. This is where they met.
I would love to live in California and just be part of that whole thing. Like, even if it's like, oh, I'm going to get married, even if it's going to end in like 2 weeks, it's like fucking, oh, well, fucking, I love being a part of this whole fucking system. Big Stacy's just fucking left and right. Big Stacy's.
Big Stacy's.
And, you know, bowing down for Big Com and just doing their bidding. Because I would, if they gave me like fucking $1 million to say fucking like, you know, the new what's a big pop star now? Fucking the new Lord album is amazing. I'd do it. It shows her like she's showing her pussy on the album. Basically, it's like an under shot of her running, and you can see her butt and her pussy
On the album cover.
I got a glimpse of it, and I was like, "Is she just like? Can you just see her butt and her pussy? She's running there." I didn't get a good look at it.
They're trying to show you where the Elon Musk spawn comes from.
Oh yeah.
Is that the one that had the Elon Musk baby?
I don't know. Maybe
Can't
no.
remember.
That was
Oh, that's Grimes.
Grimes
Yeah, I'm sorry.
whatever.
I'm sorry. They all blur together for me.
Oh yeah.
Harry Spears, young and thin in this.
Mm-hmm.
That's when.
He does a bit like basically he's just doing like a stand-up routine in the movie. He's doing a bunch of like fucking weird uh impressions. So, like, yeah, that's clever to get like a movie where it's like, oh yeah, like a pop star culture, and it's like fucking, they're all in on the conspiracy and trying to sell you products, and then they get literally like the guy who was kind of the king of pop culture. Like at the time, Total Request Live was where you went to
Yeah.
watch all the new videos and shit, and it's like, oh, he's like in on it. And he tells them here like, oh yeah, they sent you here for us to kill you, and he pulls out a bat.
Yeah.
And they just start, and like the other guy does like his impressions, and he does like a weird Bill Cosby impression here.
Oh, that was the most prophetic one. Like that was the most bone chilling one.
You know who's funny? Bill Cosby.
I'm gonna bash your brains in.
Fucking Chad. Basically, it's on the same level as the great iconic scene from Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, where he's like, "Fucking, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brain." Like right next to that, you have, who's funny? Bill Cosby, and he's gonna kill you.
Whenever they show like horror movie montages on like TMC or whatever, they should include that.
Look at her. Look at her, Stacy here.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Cummings, he gave them basically the new mix of their new single, and she's listening to it, and basically she forgets that she was going to meet up with her buddy who has the crush on her, and that he's playing a show, and she fucking forgot all about it. Very low T.
Yeah, doesn't it look like when they show him playing his show, doesn't it look like he's like playing his show like in the bathroom of the place?
Yeah, like you just kind of in a corner, and it's like it always is like that. It's like, well, fucking, this is super important to you, but nobody else cares.
Yeah, people are just walking out of the bathroom, zipping their pants up and shit. And then
Exactly.
like the manager guy, his sister is there. She's like a big fan because she's in love with the guy. And like in this movie, like he can't go anywhere with Josie, and then this other girl is like chasing him. But of course, because it's a movie, he holds out for Josie. In real life, that's not what happens. He would just, okay, this girl is like all up on my jack. I'll just whatever go with her.
Exactly. And she was in the comic book, so that's very Stacy.
Yeah.
That's the next best thing to Josie, basically.
Now, do you think it's racist that they had, when they broke up in pairs to try to kill the Pussycats with the baseball bats, Carson Daly goes to kill Tara Reid, and then Ari Spears goes to kill Rosario Dawson? It's like, is there like racism involved where she's not good enough to get killed by a white guy?
There's some weird fucking Vince McMahon shit going on here. Here's the line. Gonna kill you.
Yeah, after I stick my spoon in the pudding. That was a good effect though, where like he runs into the fake city thing. Like it actually looks like for a second like that he's gonna like bust through a window. You know what I mean?
It looks like these are all cardboard cutouts of celebrities sitting in the audience, but these are all really them. They just put some makeup on them, make them look flat and shit.
Yeah, you know how like later on they would start like taking regular movies and converting them into 3D. They had to take the footage and convert this into not even 2D, like 0.5D.
I was thinking our boy Fred Durst was in the audience, and it was showing a Fred Durst cardboard cutout. I might have been confusing that with Zoolander.
Oh, okay.
Because there's that scene at the end of Zoolander where he's like going to kill the prime minister of Malaysia, and there's like celebrities, and I think one of those is Fred Durst. I completely mixed it up.
Give me something to break.
Exactly. Fucking our boy isn't in this movie. Losi.
Yeah, I thought it would have been cool if like all of a sudden they revealed that the Pussycats know karate, and like they just would have beat the shit out of the guys. I don't think that would have been far fetched in this movie at all. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they got away. They didn't die.
Yeah.
And now they're meeting back up with Josie, and like she's completely transformed. She's completely sniffing her own farts now. They completely gotten to her. She's just saying like, oh, like I'm the one that writes all the songs, and she's like, no, we write them together. And he's like, well, then why is it called Josie and the Pussycats? Fucking. But she's very Stacy when she's being a bitch.
Yeah, it's just that she listened to that CD that had the subliminal message telling her to dump the Pussycats or whatever. Like she didn't really get like a big head, so you can forgive her in the end.
Exactly. Fucking Big Cum is always behind all this fucking bad, heinous shit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Always Big Cum is always, you know.
We need to like get in contact with what's his name? Cummings.
Alan, yeah.
I want to call him Chad
Chad Cummings.
Cummings
We could call him that. He is a Chad.
because he is the Chad basically. We should make him Chad Cummings and fucking make him the leader of Big Cum because like Big Cum is kind of an organization we're trying to get off the ground. I think we should.
Well, we're trying to expose the conspiracy and influential power that it has, but at the same time, we're willing to join it if we can.
We're trying to make Big Cum bigger than the Illuminati,
Exactly.
basically. The Illuminati is like fucking Big Cum steps on the Illuminati and fucking wipes that shit off its foot. It's like, fuck that. Like, they're Big Cum.
It's like a lot of people, they don't approve of the methods or whatever that the big cum industry, pursues in order to get their messages out there. But I mean, in order to like really make a strong social statement, you got to be willing to commit. Like our boy Evil. I mean, he jumped off the roof and he said what he had to say. And like, if he just would have been down on the street saying that, everybody would just walk right past him, not listen. But the fact that he made a strong statement on it, like, could you imagine the power it would have if Joe Biden jumped off the top of the White House screaming, research vaccine efficacy? I mean, people would finally do the research and look it up and make up their own mind,
If I ever fall to my death, that song by Kiss where it's like, oh, I gotta laugh because I know I'm about to die. Yeah. Fucking, if I'm falling to my death, I will yell research flat Earth just for the meme because that alone would convince so many people and it would just be funny. If there is an afterlife, I will be laughing.
And what's ironic is when you're telling people to research it, you're not even really influencing them one way or another. You're just telling them to research it and find out the truth.
Exactly. We let the algorithms do the work. Exactly. Because fucking Facebook or YouTube doesn't give a fuck about your mental health. They will keep telling you that the world is ran by satanic pedophiles out of a pizza shop. Very sad.
My phone get in airplane mode. That's weird.
Fucking Big Cum strikes again.
Yeah, they did.
See right here, it's showing. She's listening to the new song, which is a ballad song. Yeah, and then like fucking underneath it is saying all this shit. You should start a solo career, fucking Josie.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it's not like this ballad song. It's not like terrible or anything, but I think this was like the only song they did in the movie where I didn't really like it. You know what I mean?
That's when they sold out. They did a ballad, and it's all sad. You gotta do a rocking song. This isn't fucking Josie and the Pussycats. Yeah. This is Josie and the pussy shit, the pussy songs.
I like that there was a homeless clown in this movie. I don't know why. I thought that was interesting. Again, they were foretelling the importance that research flat Earth Joker had.
Mm-hmm. This is the scene in the movie where basically like the band is split up. They've had a fight, and she's like fucking she's going on a walk, and finally she's running, and she fucking like she drops the CD, and this is where she finds out like holy shit, there's like weird things being said underneath the music. I forget how she finds out exactly. Right here though, and then she's in on it like. Okay. First, she sees her fucking bus pass with the rest of the girls, and she's like, "Fucking, what the hell am I doing? Why am I treating my friends so?"
Like, I guess she was getting dressed up to go to an award show or whatever. But didn't you think it was crazy that like the lead in a film was wearing like a jacket held together by one button that was totally open at the top and bottom, and clearly had no shirt on underneath it?
Fucking
no shirt, no bra.
God bless feminism.
Yeah. Do you think that's what it was that created this braless environment?
Probably whoever was designing the wardrobe was just like, man, fucking Rachel Lee Cook's kind of a Stacey. I'm gonna have
you know what's so confusing about politically correct politics that I can never figure out is when you see a lady with a tight shirt on with no bra and extremely obviously erect nipples, like you can never tell if that's the work of feminism or the evil of the patriarchy creating that.
Exactly. Fucking, you gotta grab the patriarchy by the fucking by the neck and just fucking you gotta love the patriarchy. You gotta I don't know. You gotta love it or you don't. Either way, fucking just wear your bra. Don't wear your bra.
Whatever you feel like doing, yeah. Because at the end of the day, nobody can tell you, how to live your life.
Mm-hmm. Unless you're the movie phone guy and you're underneath the music.
He can tell you.
Right here.
Do you think movie phone guy was the guy telling you to take horse steroids for your cold or whatever?
Hell yes. I
think Joe Rogan was listening to the movie phone guy.
Fucking Joe Rogan. Hell yes.
Should we talk about that video we saw or that photo or whatever it was where Joe Rogan had very extremely erect nipples?
Yeah, he was getting into a pool of water for some reason. What's funny is people are like, what is the context of him in this fucking like bath? And it's like, I would rather not know. This is just funny. Like he's like getting in or out of it. And he's got a stupid looking like smile on his face and just the biggest erect nipple. They're so erect and big, they look like little cocks almost.
Like if you could zoom in on them like 200 times, you would see that they're...
Fucking Deckard from fucking that one movie. He's sitting there. Enhance.
Yeah, Blade Runner. I like how you know the reference, but you don't know the movie. You know the character's name, but you don't know Blade Runner.
Exactly. See, like right here, they're in the studio, and she was messing with the mix, and her manager and the manager, the sister, they're discovering the underneath vocals. And it's all the shit it's saying. And she's like, holy shit, yeah, they were trying to break us up. What the fuck? They're selling all this shit through the music.
I don't think it was this movie. I think it was another movie or something I was watching that was like about a band recording it in the studio. But you ever notice like in movies, like when they do the recording studio scenes, like the engineer guy, like he sits down and they start playing the music and he takes like his fingers on like the sliders and he turns them all the way up. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Like, what would the point of even sliders being if everybody just always turned everything all the way? Like, shouldn't you listen to it and adjust it up and down?
That makes too much sense. Basically, they're trying to like. How many people do you think wanted to become producers because it's like, oh, that looks like an easy job. You just pulled the fucking knobs all the way up.
It's like the most fucking complicated piece of machinery, and everybody just closing their eyes, fucking pushing everything up. It's like that's why albums sound like shit.
Here's a fun fact I didn't even know. It says in the control room scene, one of the scrolling marquee messages says "Can't Hardly Wait" was underrated, and it says Harry L. Font and Deborah Kaplan directed both "Can't Hardly Wait" and Josie and the Pussycats. Very chat. I always liked "Can't Hardly Wait." I always did think that was kind of an underrated.
Me
teen
too.
comedy.
I saw it by myself in a $1.50 theater, and I enjoyed it quite a bit.
Fucking Big Stacy, our girl, fucking Jennifer Love Hewitt. You know what she said? What her first movie was?
What was it?
Fucking Munchie, Roger Corman classic.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was the little girl in Munchie, right?
Exactly. She went by Jennifer. I don't remember if she had Love in her name there. She might have just been Jennifer Hewitt or something like that in that movie. She probably denounces it now.
She probably hates it. Yeah, because that was like a cheap ass movie.
I always loved it though as a kid.
So I sent a message to Aaron, which I don't even know why I'm calling him Aaron. I guess just because you do.
Aaron.
The QAnon conspiracy. I said to him, "Hey Aaron, what do you think of the Josie and the Pussycats movie?" He says, "I've actually very watched it. But oddly, I recently put it in my watch queue as I think it's HBO Max it's streaming on." I think he meant to say I've actually never watched it, but he said I've actually very watched it.
Exactly. He was trying to say that, but Big Cum tried to fucking step in and scramble the message. we wouldn't know what he was saying. See right here that now the band is meeting, but she found out the whole secret. She's trying to get them, and she's trying to basically let them know that like they've been using us to fucking put music or ads in our music basically, and fucking she's trying to convince Rosario Dawson and Tara Reid, and they don't know what to believe yet. So fucking very Chad, very Stacy, all together.
Yeah. This is like the second best Rosario Dawson outfit, I'd say.
What isn't a good Rosario Dawson? Look at fucking just those ears alone. Yeah. Fucking, you walk into your house, Rosario Dawson's just standing there wearing nothing but those ears, Big come. Like I instantly come and then fall asleep and leave her
By the
unsatisfied.
way, like these news clips here, I totally like, I guess like when you get 20 years older and like you lose your looks like I have, like you look back and you don't realize like how good looking people were back in the day. It's like I can't believe how much of a new Stacy that Serena Altra was, and I never ever like I used to see her on MTV every single day because back then like MTV was about the only channel I watched, and I never realized she was like such a Stacy until like I rewatched this movie 20 years later.
That is the fucking just cruel thing about the world. Is like fucking you don't notice until it's too late.
Speaking of product placements, they put the Pussycats, Tara Reid and Rosario in this Ford Mustang, and they're gonna like take it outside and blow it up. And I was just like, all I could see, the product placement was working because all I could see was like, oh man, that's such a fucking cool car, that convertible. I would love to have that model year. I love the late '90s, early 2000s Mustangs like that.
So yeah, now they found out too much. So it's like, oh, now Plan B, we're gonna kill the band and then just can't say they died in a car wreck or whatever they're planning. The big come. But here's a fun one. It says, in order to preserve the wholesome image of Josie and the Pussycats, Archie Comics demanded there be a scene where Josie and the Pussycats were seen brushing their teeth.
Oh wow, Archie Comics has some morals, don't they?
Exactly. Sure, they say some raunchy stuff. There's some adult jokes and humor, but like they still brush their teeth.
Yeah. I don't think Archie Comics would have enjoyed seeing their. Which, by the way, couldn't they legally put a stop to this movie? Like, why did they let them make it if they hated it so much?
I don't know. It must have been something where the fucking contracts were already signed, and they just didn't like the way it came out. There was probably like fucking just creative differences.
It's kind of like how Marvel can't stop Sony from making Spider-Man movies on their own.
It's all boiling down to the third act where like they're basically set up to play in front of this new song that they've been working on with all the ads in it in front of a studio audience, and they're basically forcing our girl Josie to do it, otherwise they're gonna kill fucking the other Pussycats. And then like just like anybody else, they're gonna kill Tara Reid and Rosario Dawson. It's like fucking I gotta do whatever they tell me to do.
I can't believe this movie's already over. It feels like we just like started it like half an hour ago.
Yeah. And now it's revealing that like these it's been showing like kind of the same way Private Eye movies do. We've been seeing like somebody watching them as it's going on, somebody in the shadows, and now we're finding out that it was the band du jour. They actually survived.
Because the guy left a message and lipstick on Tara Reid's bathroom, and then she realizes it was him, and she's so happy. She goes, "Du jour was in my hotel room." Oh.
Fucking du jour.
But what's weird, it was like du jour was like 4 guys, 3 of them were recognizable guys who've been in other movies, right? Is like they could only get those other guys for the opening cameo, because when they come back in the end, like the least recognizable guy is there, but everybody else is just in a full body cast with their face covered up.
What if they just couldn't get those guys back, so they just had stand-ins?
That's what it was, just to save money. But did you notice the one guy even had the monkey in a tiny cast on his shoulder?
Fucking Chad, I did.
By the way, I love the Sega product placement in this movie because, they probably made this in 1999 when they were launching Dreamcast, and by the time it came out in 2000, the Dreamcast probably had already been discontinued by then.
Exactly. Fucking a victim of piracy. Yeah. That was an easy system to rip off games.
Like back before piracy was really even a thing in video games, like the Dreamcast was like the first one that got pirated.
This is where fucking Parker Posey and Josie start fucking. They have a cat fight.
I like the cat fight between Alan Cumming and Rosario Dawson.
Fucking 11 fuck. You messed with the wrong pussy. Bam. Fucking, I would have calmed right when she said that.
Exactly. How did it know?
She shoved a Twinkie in Parker Posey's mouth, and she's all pissed off because she used to be. That was probably because she used to be fat, but they changed it for this version of the movie.
See, Tara Reid actually knew karate. She beat the shit out of that guy, like for real. I love Parker Posey's dress in this scene. It's like a regular dress with just a bunch of patches for her record label, like stapled onto it.
they're literally just catfighting right
Yeah, I
there.
miss Parker Posey. Like I looked her up, her IMDb.
Whatever happened to
She's
her?
like
Yeah,
still works, but it's like none of the recent stuff like in the last 10 years was like, you know, anything I had even heard of. Like
it's so crazy how Hollywood works. It's basically like if you can't like break out and do like a big dramatic role, you're gonna get left behind or something. So
the
weird, yeah.
everybody says Blade 3 is a terrible movie and don't watch it. And all that. The best reason to watch Blade 3 is Parker Posey plays the main vampire villain, and just her with teeth and glowing eyes and like saying goofy shit. It's like the fucking best thing about the movie. It makes it totally worthwhile watching.
This one's weird. This remember the singer Aaliyah?
Yeah, that was she played the vampire. Yeah,
Is she was actually she was considered to play in this movie. It says Aaliyah was considered for the role of Valerie Brown. The film features a scene of a plane crash. Eerily enough, she would then die in a plane crash on August 2001, 4 months after this film's theatrical release.
could you?
Fucking
Could,
Big Tom tried to silence her.
well, they did. But could you imagine if she would have done the movie and then died in that crash like a month before the movie came out? Like this movie would have been shelved forever.
Either that or they would have capitalized on it and it would have been probably remembered like, oh, remember Aaliyah's last film or like fucking her film debut and then she died and it was eerily like the movie. But yeah, it probably would have been like one of those things where they shelved, yeah.
There's like 6 movies sitting on the shelf just because Army Hammer was jerking off and sent some text messages.
I still think of that tweet at least once a day. Fuck it, I want to. What did he say? I want to come while thinking of breaking.
Yeah,
the bones?
he's like I'm gonna come when I break your bones. I'm gonna drink your blood, and then he's like, I'm a fucking cannibal. I'm gonna remove one of your ribs and eat it, and then just like,
What a fucking psycho! That's literally like even me. I'm a big meme guy. Like if somebody's texted that to me, I'm like, what the fuck?
Wouldn't it suck if he really just like him and his friends just had like a crazy sense of humor and like that's the kind of shit they text each other and then it just got leaked out and he got in trouble?
That would, yeah. That would. Because that is like, we actually debated putting out a shirt that just has that tweet
awesome.
on it.
Be so awesome.
It's like blown up to fit the shirt.
But you know, like I watched like we rewatched The Lone Ranger like a month ago. Like still loved the movie. Like it didn't change anything about it for me.
Mm-hmm. Fucking look at that. Here they find basically, yeah, the Parker Posey and the Alan Cummings, they find out like, oh, you were a drunk in high school? Me too. I was albino. I'm wearing makeup. It's so goofy. The movie's so fucking goofy. Like it is very slapstick and just fucking like you could tell like they were just like very like kind of what's that movie? Fucking Austin Powers type of humor.
And like this movie's, I mean, obviously not serious, but like it gets really goofy at the end where Alan Cumming wipes off his shit and takes off his hair, and I don't get why he's so bald just because he's albino. Like albino's half hair, like they're not, you know.
Yeah, is he bald or does he just have like fucking weird?
No, it's just like little strands of like hair. Like he's bald because like his scalp is like so white. Yeah. And then the manager guy gets naked for like no reason. I don't get it.
Because he's a Chad. And he's got a fucking solid ass jawline that looks like it was chiseled from the gods themselves.
And then the whatever they are, FBI guys, CIA guys show up and they're like, oh, we're gonna bust them. And then it's awesome how Parker Posey is like, what? You knew about this all along. You were helping me.
They just play it off. They're like, oh no, we didn't. And it's like they didn't take him to jail. Fucking to see the big comes letting us know that fucking the FBI always steps in and pretends like they're fucking shocked when they find this shit out, but they're always.
But they throw them in jail anyway. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You know who they should have got to play the FBI agent? Fucking the guy from Unsolved Mysteries.
This guy does come off as Robert Stacklight.
Mm-hmm. This is like the bootleg Robert Stack. This is like Albert. This is This is his last name is Pyle.
Yeah.
Robert Pyle.
So
yeah, they basically threw them under the bus because like, yeah, we don't need you anymore because like fucking doing our subliminal messages is way better in movies instead of music, and then it showed like a little ad there
Yeah,
to
the
kind of break
subliminal
the
ad
third
tells
wall.
you like Josie and the Pussycats is like the best movie you've ever seen or whatever,
And it did not work because fucking nobody remembers this movie.
except us. That's why we're doing.
And it's got a 5 point something on IMDb. Very low
That is
T.
very low T. Oh, what would you give this out of 10? I would give it like an 8 out of 10.
I I have so much fun with this movie, and it's just kind of a nostalgic movie. Even if I watch it and it's like, it could give me the exact same like fucking feeling, and just like none of the jokes land, and I'd still be like, oh, it's an 8. Like, yeah, at least this is for some reason it's just like it scratches the itch
It was
to
one of
me.
those movies, I don't know if you felt this way, like, it was like one of those movies where, like, on top of, like, the writing and everything, like, just the fact that the cast was, like, as expansive as it was, and there were so many people from that time period in it that I remembered, and, yeah, I don't know, like, I think the cast is awesome, like, the cast itself makes this movie worthwhile.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if the Soska sisters were extras in this part during the concert scene.
Yeah, I would probably, or maybe one of the music videos, maybe the bowling alley scene. It's
Yeah,
hard telling.
maybe.
Yeah, this would
Because I
probably
think
make
they
the
ran
most
into those
sense.
girls
Yeah,
at the mall or something too, so maybe they were walking by in that scene.
yeah. This is basically they're on stage now. Everything's been wrapped up, and now she's telling them like, yeah, you guys, you've been tricked into liking our music. We're gonna play now, and we hope you can listen to our music for what it is, and not like the ads that you're being sold. So this is the first time they're hearing them for the first time, and they go and they rock the place up, fucking leave their jaws on the floor. Big Stacy.
Yeah, my favorite song that they did was the one at the beginning, and what was it? It's like it's been what is it, like 6 hours and 5 long days for all your lies to begin.
For all your lies to come undone. Big Stacy's.
They are.
See, this song started out with a big wussy fucking like ballady intro, but then they get all rocky.
They rock it out.
They tricked us.
Stacy's will do that to you when they're rocking out. They kind of lull you into it. I was just thinking about it because like Rachel E. Cook is like one of those people like I always liked. Like she never was like in a ton of shit that like I loved, but she was a handful of movies. Like I liked this movie. I liked Antitrust. I liked Get Carter. Is like one of those people that like the 2010s, 2012, 2015. I was like, damn, like I always thought she would have like a big resurgence, like not be like a major star, but that she would like you start seeing her on a regular basis again, and
Yeah, she was one of those people that like I think it was just part of the whole Hollywood thing. Like she started like getting older looking, and they were like, "Oh, we gonna hire the younger looking crowd." And then she tried to get like the plastic surgery to keep trying to look younger, and they just
she
fucking
did.
I don't know.
Really?
I think so.
Because I saw a
if I
picture of her on
remember right.
Wikipedia from 2019, and I swear she like looked exactly the same.
Maybe I'm mixing her up.
I think you're thinking of Tara Reid.
I'm not sure
she
if
got
they.
a lot of plastic surgery.
Yeah, she did. Yeah. I'm not sure if she ended up coming back for this new movie, He's All That, but I'm interested in watching it just to see if she shows up. Yeah, I remember hearing
you
they were
watch a
trying to get.
2-hour movie to see if somebody shows up.
For some reason, like this nostalgia bait movies, it's always kind of like, oh, I'll check it out.
Yeah, she is, and He's All That.
Okay,
But I don't
Stacey.
even think she plays the same character. Let me see. But yes,
Oh,
like
that'd be lame.
Yeah, she works. Like she has 97 credits, including like recent stuff. But it's just like it's all like Hallmark movies and stuff, if you know what I mean. Like made for TV.
Oh, fucking Candace Cameron type of shit. Yeah.
And it's sad because like after Josie and the Pussycats, she did like for a few years she did like that thing where like she was like on one episode of like these TV shows that were on for years.
Mm-hmm. That fucking red hair she got is very Stacy in this movie.
Yeah, it is. But I think it's. I was looking
Very
at it.
Stacey.
Don't you think it's like a wig? Because like.
I don't know.
Cause like,
yeah, maybe.
Because it's real weird. Like her makeup on her face, it gets blended up into her hair once she gets the red hair. Like it's really weird, and her hair kind of like sticks out stiff.
Fucking Stacy. See right there, the buddy, the guitar player, kind of friend. He was like, "I've always liked you." She's like, "I've always liked you." It's like it's all wrapping up nice and very Hollywood. And then it showed the fucking the fanboy in the crowd who cries whenever she kisses
Yeah.
the buddy. It's like fucking that would have been me. I'd have been like fucking
Like
no, Josie's my
like the fan
Stacy.
that thinks he's gonna get the famous lady to go out with him or whatever.
Oh yeah. Then we get these little quick cuts of like just them having fun throughout the
Yeah,
movie. It's a fun
she's
movie, I
not
think.
even the same character. She's all that. She plays a girl named Lainey Boggs, and then in He's All That, she plays Anna Sawyer.
I remember they were talking about like, oh, we're gonna get Rachel Lee Cook to show up and Freddie Prinze Jr. It's like I don't give a fuck about Freddie Prinze Jr., but Rachel Lee Cook, I will watch the movie for that. She's not even playing the same character. Very
Yeah, I'm
lame.
surprised that Freddie Prinze Jr. has time to film anything because he makes so many videos talking about how shitty Star Wars fans are all day and all night. Yeah,
Oh, does he?
because he like did like a voice or something on a Star Wars cartoon, and now he's like one of those guys that comes out and is like, if you don't like what Disney's doing with Star Wars, because you can't grow the fuck up and you're a loser and you're blah blah. I'm like, okay, this coming from the guy who was a movie star, and then he was actually a creative writer for WWE for a few years, and then he did Star Wars voices. Yes, he was. And, yeah, dude.
That.
Yeah, dude. It's all true. And then he does a couple voices on Star. It's like, get the fuck out. Who the fuck are you? Like,
There is a Star Wars connection with this movie. So two of the Pussycats later joined the Star Wars universe. Rachel Lee Cook voiced numerous characters in video games and cartoons, and Rosario Dawson played Ahsoka
yeah.
Tano in the Ahsoka in the Mandalorian. Very
Yeah, I also
stagey.
saw Rachel E. Cook does like a lot of voices for that Robot Chicken show that Seth Green does.
Donk. Oh yeah. And Seth Green, he voiced a character in the South in the Clone Wars show. Yeah.
Clone Wars is donk.
Donk. Now it's one of those movies, the comedy, and it ends with a bunch of outtakes. What do you think of that? Do you think that brings you out of the continuity of the movie, or do you like in a comedy? I think.
I think it works, but it's like I like the ones where instead of showing you outtakes, it shows you like deleted shit. Like, if you know what I mean? Like, there's, you know, some movies do that.
Yeah.
I like just seeing people go like, "Oh, I fucked my line up." Like, it's I don't know. It doesn't do that much for me. Like, it's fine. I like seeing the actors more than I like just seeing blank credits. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, like they always just make it look like it's just a fun party to work on a movie when you know, like, really, it's probably pretty hard. It's probably kind of a nightmare for like some of the people working on it that are like have a deadline and all that shit. Have to set up
like
all
probably
the
the
shit.
guy who has to like do it. Remember our boy? By the way, we should be getting some thank yous because we just did Video Violence and big surprise. 3 weeks later, they announced the Blu-ray's coming out. But
Dog. That is a shot on video movie. What is the point of a Blu-ray? I'm not complaining.
I mean, I'll buy it if like they go back to the original tapes and it actually looks better. But yeah, like you know, remember that director? He got mad on the outtakes because they popped the video back out, and he was mad, saying, "Okay, that's a funny joke, but it takes longer time." And you know, the wasting tape, those tapes that cost like $3 each.
Imagine if he was shooting on film where it actually is like $70 a fucking canister of film. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
some of the Pussycats vocals were performed by Biff Naked. I used to see her all the time on Much Music, which was like the Canadian MTV. She was like I mean, she did pop music, but she was like one of those ones that looked like a punk girl with tattoos and stuff, but she sang kind of like pop punk, you know, stuff at the time.
Fucking a regular female Blink-182 over here.
It's weird though, because like if this movie came out now, you know, especially if it was like Disney who put it out, it would be like, oh, you don't even understand the level of female power that's in this. We got women over here, we got women over there. There's women making the costumes. There's women making the food that everybody. Oh, there's so much.
There was a woman director in this movie,
but it's like at the time when it came out, everybody was like, oh, like it's just a movie.
I do, yeah. Like you know, it's just a pander, and that gets annoying. But like, yeah, it's like I miss when it wasn't like a big identity thing. Maybe that's something like we'll we ever get back to that? No.
It's interesting. Betty
And
Thomas was the second unit director. She directed a lot of movies herself, like big comedies. Oh,
oh yeah, we talked over the remake of the the famous Josie and the Pussycats. They
yeah.
did that, you cover that in like the rock version of the show or the movie. I mean,
Yeah.
and now it's playing the du jour. That is one of the. There's deleted scenes on this DVD
Mm.
I'm looking at. There's a commentary with the directors and producer. There's deleted scenes. There's Josie and the Pussycats, Three Small Words music video, and there's two du jour music videos. Very Chad.
And Josie and Pussycats did a cover of Real Wild Child.
Hell
That was
yes.
like especially if it was a movie that had kids doing goofy shit. That was like in the 80s and 90s. Like every trailer had that. Like kids running around going, I'm a real wild child. I think even Problem Child did it, didn't
I'm a
they?
real wild boy. Hell yeah, fucking read like a school, like a
Look, Amazon.com
Jack.
is a registered trademark of Amazon. This was some early Bezos invasion right here.
Fucking Bezos. He was part of Big Cum way back then. He was like, one day I will have a big cock shaped fucking spaceship.
And I'll fly into outer space, and then I'll brag that all my employees made it happen.
Fucking stay in space. We don't want you.
I actually read an article about his wife because like they got divorced like 2 years ago, and she got like hundreds of billions. She's actually like just goes to like charities and like sends them a payment of like 20 million, and they're like, what, out of nowhere they're like, oh, what the fuck, and they're saying all this charity she's doing. So that Bezos money is actually going somewhere now. It's pretty interesting.
Big Stacy.
And then yeah,
Big Stacy.
and she's still got like billions, like because like she divorced him and then like married like a school teacher or something, and like that's all she does with her life is look for charities to give money to. Big props to her.
Hell yeah. Fucking behind every fucking ugly ass bald dude, there is a
And she
Stacy
actually is a Stacy
given
too.
to
I saw a
charity.
picture of her. So
Oh yeah. See, this is the PG-13 version I am watching. It has the little blue motion picture has been rated screen here. I am not watching the PG version.
yeah, I watched the PG-13 version too. So yeah, so I guess that's it for Josie and the Pussycats. This was actually your pick, and I was like, oh yeah, I like that movie, but I hadn't seen it, since I rented it way back in the day. It's like I said, I mean, to talk about a movie that's criminally underrated, you know what I mean?
It is oddly like. What's funny too is like apparently they were Archie Comics. They were really like fucking hesitant about this movie and even told people not to watch it. But like now in the new show Riverdale, it's dark and all this shit. Basically, what's considered socially acceptable for comic book movies now, but it's a show and apparently Josie and the characters show up there and like yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing an Archie movie done in the style that this movie was.
I don't think they'll ever do fun comic book movies anymore. It's all about fucking just like being super serious and dramatic.
Super serious, dramatic, and paying tribute to, your home country of China.
Oh yes.
So yeah, so I mean, definitely, this was a good pick. I'm glad you brought it up. And
when you remembered the movie though, did you remember that was Rosario Dawson?
Oh yeah, that was like the number one thing I remembered about the movie.
I didn't.
I honestly think that was like the only reason I kind of rented it at the time, in all honesty, because
Did you know of her before? Was she bigger than I thought she was?
She wasn't a star, but I knew her, and because like one of those things where you see somebody in like either the first thing they're in or like the really close to the beginning. As a well, was I a kid? I don't know. I think I was a teenager, whatever. Whatever age I was, probably like 18. But my dad took me to see that movie Kids.
Oh yeah.
And if you ever hear Rosario Dawson tell her story about how she got into whatever, she was just like a regular kid, like living in New York, and like somebody came up to her and was like, "Oh, you should be in this movie." And like she was in that movie, and like she was super young, she was like 15, so like her family like moved like cross country, after she shot the movie. And then when the movie came out, like all these people were calling her saying like, "Oh, we really want to work with you, put you in more movies." So it was literally like first, and she's a good actress too. I mean, if you watch like a lot of stuff she's in, but yeah, it was just one of those things. Like she really got chased in and it's like, what are because whenever you see somebody that's like that like you just kind of accidentally gets in the movies and they actually turn out to be good. Like, what are the chances of that? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Fucking the same thing with our boy Eddie
Yeah.
Furlong, who can fucking come out of his mouth, and
Yep.
he thankfully Rosario Dawson did not go down the same path with the drugs
Mm-mm.
and stuff that Eddie Furlong did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like, so she did Kids, and then she did a short movie or short whatever short film, and then she did He Got Game, which that He Got Game was the one where she really broke out as the guy's girlfriend or whatever, playing Lala Bonilla, and then like after that, it was off and running. She was getting cast and everything.
Do we owe fucking the greatness of our girl to Larry
I
Clark,
think
who
I
made
think we
Kids?
do. I think we got to go there.
Fucking Larry. Larry, you are a weird guy, but fucking you did a good thing.
I like some of my other favorite Rosario Dawson favorites is I love her part she plays in Sid City. She's really fucking awesome in that. Did you ever see that, Zach?
That was that a
No,
TV
Sin
show?
City the movie. It's like a comic book movie. It's like black and white.
Oh, I was in a Spin
Yeah,
City or something like that. Yeah, I remember
yeah.
that movie. Hell yeah. The who did that?
Our
Was that
boy Robert Rodriguez. And then
yeah, yeah.
obviously I love her in Death Proof. And
Hell
the
yes.
other movie I really like her in. It was a movie that like it was like a Weinstein movie, and because like all their bullshit when it came crashing down, she was in this movie called Kill Shot with what do you call it? It's got like Mickey Rourke is a hitman, like Joseph Gordon-Levitt is like his partner, and then like a regular guy like witnesses something they do, played by Thomas Jane, and his wife is what's her name, Diane Lane. So like it's like this thing of like they keep fucking with this guy and like trying to find him and kill him and stuff because like he witnessed whatever some shit they did. But in that movie, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he's like I don't know what you call it, like a poor guy who lives in a trailer. Rosario Dawson is his girlfriend, and like they totally like ugly her up and like put like fake zits on her face and stuff.
Man, she probably still Stacy.
Like they make her pretty grody, and they make her character like really like sad because she's all like, "Yeah, kill this guy, get his money, and then we can get away from here," and all that. So, like you really feel sorry for her, like you know what I mean? And like they have her in like old dirty sweatshirts and shit, and it's just like that's like one of my favorite roles of hers.
Something tells me that Joseph Gordon-Levitt, he should start a podcast and call it Levitt or Leave It.
That would be awesome.
It's a clever pun. It's a clever pun, and it's just right there. It's so easy. He should take it.
That would.
And his first guest should be Rosario Dawson. They should talk about how they uglied her up for that movie. Do you think they put fake zits on her, or do you think they just like made her like take a bath and use chocolate bars as soap? Like this will make you break out.
That sounds like some Larry Cohen shit, like or some Harmony Korine shit. Like get in the. Remember he made that kid get in the tub with spaghetti.
That's like the most like odd scene of the movie too. That's the scene I always remember.
The kid's taking a bath, and if you look on the background, the wall of the bath, he has pieces of bacon taped to the wall.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Big
I'll
Chad.
send you some pictures of her in that movie. She's great in Clerks too, as well. Like she kind of honestly really saves that movie, but whatever.
I think that movie is good. Yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing the third one. Hopefully, you know what's gonna be weird is if the first two are shot on film and then the new one looks like that Jane saw about reboot movie.
like a video thing.
Yeah.
Not to be negative because I like the movie and everything, but that's kind of how I felt about the Bill and Ted Part 3. Was like you just had that, video look.
We're definitely missing something when they don't shoot it on film. It seems like,
Before I forget, I just wanted to say a thank you to the listeners. Also, thank you to Zach. This last month that just closed, the month of August. Like we're a little bit behind, so this episode will come out later. But yeah, August we have our highest downloads ever, baby.
Hell yes.
Here
it go.
I want to say it was our video violence episode that dropped on the first of the month, but it's just really the listeners, downloading everything total. So.
Mm-hmm. Big fucking dang. See, fucking Big comes trying to stifle us, but they
They can't.
can't. We're too big.
Yeah, like as much as everybody probably hates that, all we talk about is on the podcast now is cum. It's like the downloads have tripled, so I'm not complaining. We'll talk about it.
Fucking hell yeah.
So I don't know, because this will probably come out. I don't even know when this will come out. Honestly, sometime in the winter, summer. I don't know, but
You know what, too? I'm looking at my DVD copy of Josie and the Pussycats right now. If I could set this up in front of me, and if I just zoned out and try to meditate and shit, I could probably do a hands-free cum
oh
just
yeah,
looking at it.
I think if you close
yeah.
your eyes and sniff the DVD case, you could.
Very Stacy. These days, this fucking this movie could just be called Stacy. Like I'm convinced if you get those sunglasses from They Live, you put it on. This is just a DVD. It's just a white background. It just says Stacy movie.
Exactly.
Big
So
Stacy.
what's some of the in the near future? What's some of the big Chad moves, power moves you're making on Mac and Zach Save the World?
We just did a commentary for Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2, and we did on BTM. On the Revival House, you can check the Mac and Zach Save the World. You can check out BTM podcasts and a bunch of other for the BTM. We recently did. Fast Times at Ridgemont High. We did a big com for Phoebe.
Yeah, it was very perplexing. You guys actually did that as a live stream commentary. You're getting very fancy with that, whatever that account that Aaron set up for you guys. But what was the cover photo? It was like an old band pretending to be Weezer.
Yeah, usually I take some joke that's made in the fucking show, and at some point, like the last scene where they're at the dance party in the high school, I was like, oh, they got Weezer to play because they had like Buddy Holly looking suits on, and so I just made that connection. So for the thumbnail on YouTube, it shows the band, and it's made to look like the Weezer Blue album.
It looks exactly like it. It's so weird because especially when you see the Buddy Holly looking guy in the front. But then you see the guy with the Jerry Crow afro, and you're like, oh, I don't remember that guy being a Weezer.
They're fucking big com. They made him leave and like tried to like erase him from history. Basically.
Yeah, they always like step in and make shit bland. But yeah. So you got Mac and Zach Save the World. You got the Revival House Network coming out with BTM. Also Cinema Enema.
Cinema Enema, that's our review show. We don't do commentaries there. I pick a movie my boy Aaron has never seen. He picks a movie I've never seen, and we reviews it. We did the latest one. We had Riverman, the OG. He used to be on BTM, but now he's kind of branched off because he's got a kid and a family now. But every once in a while he'll come on, and that was kind of his episode because we talked about the Romero movie.
Land of the Dead.
Which one is it? Land of the Dead.
All three of you guys had pretty low T takes on it.
You a big fan of that?
I mean,
one?
It's one of those things I'm not a big fan, like in relation if I compare it to other ones, but like I like it a lot. Like I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. Like I don't other than like what you guys said about it could have looked a little grittier, I guess. And like the lead guy, I even like in it. I just don't like the way he's like overly manicured or whatever. But I like Ozzy in it. I like it, and like I don't really see that movie as being as political. Like to me, the way Romero does politics is the way I like it. Whereas like he just barely scrapes the surface, like references. Like I don't think he's like some people. They really preach to you and try to make you fucking see whatever political shit they want you to see. Whereas I think Romero just like he looks at something and he's like, oh, that's an interesting idea to a story. I don't really think that, you know what I mean.
I think it was the fucking having the characters say that line, and that was really what fucking just like threw people over the edge. Like the thing is too is I try to never let shit like that bother me. Like I could watch a movie that has a total fucking like super conservative bent and like well think about it. Whenever we watch those movies, it turns out to be like the Death Wish movie, like Death Wish 3. It's very like fucking like by the book. Like fucking the criminals should get fucking punished and shit like that. I watch that shit and I laugh. I'm like, this is fucking fun. Like I don't think like this is how we should run the
Yeah.
world or anything like that. But like, yeah, fucking, I can never imagine getting super offended because a movie's super like right wing or political. Like, I don't let that shit bother me.
Yeah, like to me, I always think, okay, like what is the situation that the movie is portraying, right? Like I don't think you can make a Rambo movie with a left wing slant to it. You know what I mean? It's just the
Yeah,
situation
yeah.
kind of dictates what happens, you know. And like with the we don't negotiate with terrorists thing, like I mean, I know George Bush is famous for saying that, but I feel like I've been hearing that line like my whole life, kind of like you know what I mean. I don't,
Exactly. Fucking, we all feel it. Fucking, I've been negotiating with terrorists every day of my life. My fucking boss, this fucking asshole, like fucking, the bullies
yeah,
at school. Fucking, like, we can all agree with it, baby.
exactly. So yeah, so that's it for Josie and the Pussycat. I feel like we got to go find another Rosario Dawson movie to talk about now.
We
We
do.
did
We
Clerks. We can
do.
do. We'll have to do Clerks 2 right when the third one comes out or something.
Hell
Yeah,
yes, I am
because they got her
down.
back. I saw a set photo. She was there. So
I am excited. I hope it turns
yeah,
out good. I like that he's writing what he knows and he's basically bringing it full circle and making it kind of a semi-autobiographical way to kind of like now the I don't know if you've heard it, but the story is going to revolve around basically Randall kind of deciding he's going to make a independent film about fucking
interesting.
yeah, so I'm looking forward to hopefully because I think like yeah you can really bring it into like the coming because it kind of is like a coming of age story like coming of middle
Yeah.
age almost. I think it could work.
No,
Yeah,
I think a big. I really like. I'm trying to think about it. The only one I've never watched was Jersey Girl. Um,
I saw that in the theater. I was so
where
let down. I was expecting Jay and Silent
holy
Bob to
shit.
show up as something.
Like I would watch it, but it's just like yeah, it's just like isn't Rosario Dawson in it or no?
I
Who
don't
plays the
know. I
love
think the
interest? Because
love
like J Lo. Oh no, I'm sorry. It's Liv
uh
Tyler plays the love interest. Yeah.
Liv Tyler. For a little known fact, her middle name is to suck cock.
Really amazing.
I stole that joke. I
She
stole that
lives
joke.
to.
But
Yeah.
hell yeah, fucking Liv Tyler. She dang.
I
Fucking
miss her.
like whatever happened to her?
I think she just
Yeah.
had kids, and when you have millions and millions of dollars, you're like, whatever. You know what's like kind of the best Liv Tyler movie if you like to see her portrayed in a Stacey fashion. You ever see that movie? And you probably haven't, but you ever see that movie One Night at McCool's?
I
Yeah,
haven't.
it's like another one that like at the time people are like, this is a Pulp Fiction ripoff, but it's really nothing like Pulp Fiction. But like, yeah,
Mm.
that might be a good
Oh
one to
yeah.
dig up. In all honesty. It's got
Hmm.
Matt Dillon, Liv Tyler, and our boy Andrew Dice Clay playing the hitman.
Fucking
Yeah,
Chad. So I'm already
yeah.
sold.
Your nipples are already hard like Joe Rogan in the hot tub, huh?
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Amazing.
Oh yeah. My nipples have fucking hard on fucking giant erect nipples
Yeah,
themselves.
amazing. That's the way it should be when you're watching a film like this one we watched tonight, huh?
Mm. Exactly.
So yeah, so that's it, everybody. I want to thank you for listening. If you happen to, this is the first time you've ever listened to the show because you're a Josie and the Pussycats fan and you want to hear some people cover it, we're sorry. But if you're a regular graveyard listener, we always got more coming around down the pipeline, and we thank you guys for not only always listening, being faithful and loyal to the show, but helping us get more and more downloads. Because if we get too few downloads, our overlords are going to take us off the air, ain't they, Zach?
Exactly. They were gonna fucking beat us, rake us against the fucking coals. They will like basically whenever an episode comes out that it doesn't get. They basically torture. Like you've heard of that? What's that Chinese
Yeah, they
water
drip
torture?
water on you
Where
with
they
it.
just they do that with their
Ugh,
cum. Like they just fucking they spray it. Like it's not like a drip. It's like a big fucking geyser, and it just hits us right in the forehead.
amazing. So
Never stops.
anyway, thanks again, everybody, and we'll see you again soon, right back here in the movie graveyard.
Donk.
You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. Yeah, it's a mouthful. For more great shows, visit electronicmediacollective.com.